It's no secret that the Chicago Bulls had one of the most interesting off-seasons out of anyone in the NBA this summer. This team was able to get a variety of talents in the young guard Lonzo and veteran forward Demar Derozan, and after these moves were made, it was very clear that the Bulls are trying to win now. But do they have the ability to do so with their current roster? Although getting the two players I mentioned was good for this team and will lead to more wins, I believe that if the Chicago Bulls want to win now, there are some additional trades and signings that need to be made. Today we have to talk Chicago Bulls, and in particular, taking a deep dive into the new roster of this team and 3 trades this franchise should make to better their roster and become a legit playoff team, and maybe even a top seed if things go their way. But before we get into all of that, if you've been enjoying the videos lately, it would be absolutely clutch if you subscribed if you're new and join the Woods crew. We are trying to get past the 10,000 subscriber milestone before the next NBA season begins on October 19th, and about 95% of you guys watching aren't even subscribed. So if you just hit that sub button below, we could actually get to that goal very quickly. Not to mention, I would just really appreciate it. Now that all of that is out of the way, let's talk Bulls, because to say this team has undergone some major changes is an understatement. Like I said, this team was able to get 2 potential star players in Lonzo and Demar Derozan, but people are quick to forget that this team also traded for stud center Nikola Vucevic at the trade deadline last year. Pairing these 3 players with all-star guard Zach LaVine, who is debatably one of the best scorers in the league, and a young 2-way player in Patrick Williams makes this team look very dangerous heading into next season. But the question is, how good will this Bulls team be, and what additional moves do they need to make? Well, I already made a previous video analyzing each move this team made, so if you want to see that, I'll link it at the end of this video. But I didn't really get into the expectations for the Bulls going into this season and how good I think they will be. After these moves, it is clear that this team has a very solid starting lineup, which means that they are bound to do some damage in the regular season. With Lonzo being a seamless fit with LaVine and Vucevic having the ability to stretch the floor, many believe this team is a lock for the playoffs if healthy, and I can't help but agree. Despite DeMar DeRozan being a somewhat questionable fit, I believe that this Bulls team will be able to make it work and get some wins racked up. But where I believe they will rank at the end of the season is where things get interesting. As their lineup is right now, I could see this team easily being a 5th to 8th seed in their conference if their starters are able to play well together. But this team has made it very apparent that they are going win now mode in order to convince Zach LaVine to resign. So I believe if they make some trades, they could be even better and possibly get a top seed in the East. But what exactly do they need to improve? Well, despite having a somewhat complete starting lineup, if this Bulls team wants to be a legitimate threat to other contending teams in the East, there are a few holes they have to fill. One of those mainly being defense. It was clear that even though this team got the playmaking and great offense with Lonzo and DeMar DeRozan, this didn't exactly add to their defense. Not to mention that they were already in the bottom half of the league in that regard. Lonzo Ball is a sneaky good defender, which makes them better, but despite DeRozan's recent improvements, he's still a below average defender at best. While Patrick Williams develops, I believe it's crucial that the Bulls get a glue guy that fits the 3-and-D mold who plays at the wing, and there is no shortage of great options for this team to trade for. In the last video, I talked about Robert Covington and why he would be great fit for this team because he has the qualities that I mentioned, but then one of you guys commented an even better option in my eyes, that being Jay Crowder of the Suns. In the past 2 years, Crowder has shown that he is a staple piece that leads to playoff success, and he literally is the definition of a 3-and-D player. Coming off back-to-back finals runs, Crowder's displayed elite defense at the highest level and the ability to get a bucket from beyond the arc when needed, and well, he is the perfect fit for the Bulls. Nothing against Patrick Williams, because I think he has the potential to be a monster in the league within a few years, but that's the thing, the Bulls are trying to win now, and they need guys with experience like Crowder. Don't get me wrong here, by no means am I saying that this team should get rid of Williams, because like I said, I believe he will be a stud, but it wouldn't hurt to get someone like Crowder that could start and give Williams the role of leading the bench unit and developing. And hey, if Williams proves that he is better than Crowder, he could start, and the Bulls could close with Jay Crowder when they need his defense. But the question is here, how could the Bulls get this deal done? Well, this is where things get tricky, because it has been made apparent that the Suns are on a win-now mission after bringing back Chris Paul on a fat extension, which means they wouldn't give up Crowder unless it helped them in their win-now efforts even more than Crowder has. Because of this and the fact that the Bulls only have young assets, they would need to get a 3rd team involved. This team would have a piece that could help the Suns win now, while also having a desire to acquire a young asset from the Bulls. The best team for this trade? Well, even though there are many that fit this description, I think the most likely is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs are one of the youngest teams in the league, and could be looking to get even younger by participating in this trade. Not to mention, they have a piece that the Suns could use greatly after falling short of a finals win. If this trade were to go down, the package would be simple for all 3 teams. The Bulls get Jay Crowder from the Suns get Larry Nash Jr. from the Cavs, and the Cavs get Lauri Markkanen from the Bulls via sign and trade. At first glance, it might seem like this trade is lopsided for multiple teams involved, but for the ones looking to win now, it's all about fit, because they have the talent to be great, they just need the right pieces around them. Although Crowder was great for the Suns, after the Dario Saric injury, they may be looking to get a new power forward, especially knowing that they have a great option, Mikal Bridges, that could replace Crowder in the instance of a trade. In this trade, trade, the Suns would get way more size with Nance, and he is an overall great player that could potentially elevate their team. And if that isn't enough, the Bulls could always throw in a pick that the Suns could flip for even more assets. For the Cavs, they get a much needed young forward that is on the exact same timeline as the rest of their young core. Not to mention, if they were to sign and trade for Markkanen, he would be locked in for the next 3 years, which is great for the Cavaliers. And finally, for the Bulls, they get the glue guy they need in Crowder that has legit experience in the postseason. And in case you doubt this, well, the stats don't lie about Crowder making this team a lot more likely to make the playoffs. If you didn't know, Jay Crowder has officially made the playoffs for 11 straight seasons, and this isn't just on one good team, because the man has made the playoffs with the Grizzlies, Jazz, Heat, Suns, and even more teams. Now, even though that was a joke, it shows that Crowder is a winning piece that winning teams need, and between the defense and shooting, he would be the perfect fit for the Chicago Bulls. Now, although in my opinion getting someone like Jay Crowder is the most important thing for this young Bulls team, there are also a few holes they need to fix on their roster besides that, one of which being getting some size off the bench that also provides elite defense. In my eyes, there will be a common theme with this Bulls team if they don't make any additional moves going into this season, that being, it's likely that they will struggle on the defensive end of the ball. In order to prevent this issue, getting guys that provide rim protection and possibly even stretch the floor will be necessary, but who could they realistically get after shipping off Markkanen for Crowder? Statistically, many believe it can be hard to find great rim protectors because of the fact that the leaders in blocks around the NBA consist of guys like Rudy Bear and Clint Capella, who are likely untouchable for the teams they are on, but if you take a look further down the list of block leaders that are the best rim protectors, you get some great options, and one of the best and most realistic trades I believe would be getting Chris Boucher of the Raptors. Sure, getting someone like Miles Turner would be amazing for this team because he's exactly what they need, but the Bulls just don't have the assets to get the deal done for someone like that. Not to mention, they just need a bench guy, so no need to overspend when they have Vucevic. With that being said, Chris Boucher is one of the best meet-in-the-middle options. He provides very solid defense, but he is much cheaper to trade for than anyone I mentioned previously. So with that being said, let's just get right into how the Bulls could get this deal done. In this trade, Chicago would send off Garrett Temple, cap filler and Ryan Alcinato, and draft capital in exchange for Boucher. It is very clear at this point, the Bulls are stacked at the guard position with Lonzo, Levine, Kobe White, and Alex Caruso. With this team being set at that position, it literally wouldn't hurt them at all to ship off Temple. And if the draft capital isn't significant because the Raptors like Temple, this is a steal for the Bulls. In this trade, they would get Boucher, who has shown flashes of being an amazing defender. Not to mention, he was top 5 in blocks last year above guys like Jared Allen, Joel Embiid, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Boucher averaged nearly 2 blocks a game, which shows that he is willing to protect the rim at all costs. And being that he is 28 years old entering his prime, I believe he is one of the better moves this Bulls team can make for depth and defense. The only downside to this trade is Boucher is on the last year of his deal, but if the Bulls manage to win at the highest level, there's a very good chance that he resigns because winning truly does cure all. On the Raptors side of things, they also get what they need. With Kyle Lowry leaving this offseason and Goran Dragic making some questionable comments about this team, they will likely need someone to run their backup guard, and Temple could very well be that guy. If the Raptors feel as though Boucher will leave in free agency next year, they make this move so they don't lose him for nothing. Garrett Temple is not a stud by any means, but he is what this team needs, a role player at the guard position that can get buckets when needed. At age 35, Temple is a solid veteran presence that can come off the bench and give this team somewhat solid shooting. But if we're being honest here, the Raptors make this trade because of the draft capital that's included, which will help them build their young core further. Regardless of whether or not the Bulls make any of these moves I mentioned, they are in a very solid spot heading into next season. But I can't help but feel that this team's offseason is not over quite yet, and they need to make some moves to acquire defense if they truly are in win now mode. Let me know down below what you think of these trades I talked about today and what topic you would like to see in the next Bulls video. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all on the next one. Woods out.